You're watching ABC4 News, celebrating 75 years.
A Pasadena father accused of attempted murder and child abuse after police say he intentionally drove his car off of a cliff with his child and wife inside. Now, those children and their mother somehow alive tonight. You can see just how mangled this Tesla is after 41-year-old Dharmesh Patel allegedly drove his family off of a coastal highway called Devil's Slide. The car landing just feet from the ocean. It took 3 helicopters and 30 rescuers to reach them.
We come out here, unfortunately, all too often for things like this, and this was nothing short of a miracle that they survived.
ABC News also spoke to Patel's neighbors who say they cannot believe this man, a doctor at a Los Angeles hospital, could try to harm his young children and wife.
Here in Utah, an update on the Salt Lake City police officer arrested for allegedly driving drunk. Officer Thomas Cagle was accused of assaulting a man in Weber County. This video taken from the scene of Cagle's alleged crime. The victim and police records say Cagle rear-ended a man while off duty, and when they pulled off the road to assess the damage, Cagle drove his truck into the man, pinning him against the car. The injuries sending him to the hospital. Cagle, currently now on leave, but now could face more serious consequences, including jail time. In northern Utah, a series of earthquakes shaking up Cache County since New Year's Day.
Yes, ABC4's northern Utah correspondent Kade Garner met with an earthquake engineer to learn how well Utah is prepared for the next big one. Kade.
Since New Year's Day, 14 earthquakes have struck in Cache County. This map from the U of U seismograph station shows where each quake hit.
The earthquake I felt yesterday was very short duration, so it's really just enough to get your attention.
This is Brady Cox. He felt yesterday's 3.2 magnitude quake. He's a professor at USU and an earthquake engineer who's traveled the world helping cities rebuild in the wake of large earthquakes. He says this swarm of earthquakes acts as a gentle reminder.
On an individual basis, people need to be ready, but also in a state basis, we need to be ready.
He says the recent quakes in Cache County haven't been big enough to really cause any damage. With so many earthquakes happening here in Cache County over the last few days, some people may be wondering if there's any imminent danger or if a bigger earthquake may be coming soon.
We don't know when, but the probabilities are high. We're overdue for a large earthquake. Most
of Utah's population lives along the Wasatch Fault line, and Cox says this is where the biggest issue lies.
In the next 50 years, we have almost a 50% chance of having approximately magnitude 7 earthquake.
He says worldwide, one of the leading causes of earthquake deaths is unreinforced masonry structures, basically brick buildings that aren't reinforced with steel.
And we have about 140,000 of those structures in the state that are really dangerous in a big earthquake.
He says that's 5 times higher than even California.
We have a lot of people who are at risk in a large earthquake. In fact, there's about 72,000 school children that attend a school that at least one of the buildings on their school campus is an unreinforced masonry structure.
Reporting in Logan, Kade Garner, ABC4 News.
Time now for Utah's most accurate forecast with Alana Brophy. Weather rates certified 11 years in a row.
All right, we just cleared out some back-breaking snow, and more could be on the way.
Yes, indeed. Alana, how much are we expecting?
Okay, I like to think of it as muscle building snow. Come on, let's go positive, folks. We love the snow. We want it. And we've got more on the way. Wet weather out there with our warm front live look down there in southern Utah, St. George, our Southern Utah University Network camera catching the overcast skies in Washington County as the warm front lifts through the state, increasing cloud cover. As a result, that high pressure short-lived. Doesn't get to hang out here. We're watching that corner of the state because that's where we've seen echoes of moisture over the Cedar City Mountains. We are checking cameras in Iron County, not hitting the ground there, but St. George has seen a few sprinkles. More on the way, and not just for the southern portion of the state. We're tracking it also, you know what to expect. But as we get rid of that warm front, it's just really the appetizer. We're going to get the main dish here as we get Thursday into Friday. It's going to be mostly a valley rain and mountain snow event, but then there's a changeover that we're tracking. Those accumulations for the mountains will be healthy, and that changeover could impact your Friday morning commute. So I want to tell you about it early. Ensign Peak sunset. Hello. Is that gorgeous? Do you know why? Because you can see the valley. A layer of haze is gone. Our active pattern sweeping out any bit of valley inversion. Temperatures little mild, and they're going to get warmer because we're going to see this system come on through. Not tonight, though. Cooling off to the freezing point by 9 p.m. Increasing cloud cover expected. That's just a good indication that moisture's in the atmosphere. All right, this is that huge system off the Pacific. Why am I showing you this? It's our moisture source. This is where our next atmospheric river, we're going to pull that moisture into Utah. And that means that we're going to get healthy amounts of rain and snow. Let's walk through the timeline so you know what to expect. Here we are tonight with the warm front coming through. Clouds out there. By 10 a.m. tomorrow, we've got wet weather knocking on the doorstep right there, coming across the state line, already getting some mixed on I-80, so a heads up for travelers, and some rain showing up towards Rush Valley. By 3 p.m., we see it fill in. It's mountain snow, valley rain, heavier rain in yellow. When you're seeing the pink, that's mixed precipitation where we're seeing that wintry, sloppy mix, but we are looking at rain from Logan down towards Farmington, into Salt Lake, and even into Provo by the afternoon hours. Down south, it's whipping. We know our mountains are going to get heavy snow in central and southern Utah, which you see here in the I-15 corridor from Nephi down to St. George, looking at rain, so a heads up. Okay, heading into late Thursday, you're seeing more snow. It moves over eastern Utah, but look at the Wasatch Front, more pink. What does that mean? Mixed precipitation because colder air and a wind shift is moving in. So we do have the potential to see some snow if the moisture's still around as that cold air moves in. Here we are. By 12 p.m., yeah, you can see the chance of some light snow on Friday, and that could hamper the morning commute. Clearing out after that, drying out. As we look at the futurecast precipitation, it kind of targets that. Again, 6 to 12 inches expected for our mountains. Here we are by the afternoon. Spreads east by early Friday morning, so we know exactly what to expect precipitation-wise. Next 2 days, we're going to have impacts, folks, especially in red where we're looking at those mountain passes. 40s for tomorrow, supporting the valley rain. 20s and 30s tonight. 20s, 30s, and 40s on the eastern side of the state. The Basin, Castle Country, you're getting snow. 40s for the I-15 corridor, 51 in St. George. You ready for some rain? Rain in the desert. Bring it on. I tell you what, we love a healthy start to the year with this moisture, and it holds on. Dry for the weekend into the middle of next week. St. George taps back into it, another system. An active pattern, cleaning up air, bringing us moisture, adding to our snowpack temperatures. Early temperatures now support a rain-snow event next week as well, so a heads up there. But as you take a look at that, you can actually see just a very healthy pattern with those 40s. 40s are definitely manageable. They're not 20s. We sort of love that. So all in all, valley rain and mountain snow is the wish that Glenn Mills made for Christmas, and he does it every year. And here we are delivering in January.
It's my favorite storm.
Look at that.
I know it is. He loves it. I'm happy with the snow.
And there's a lot of valley snow that needs to be melted by that rain.
I feel like that could happen. It's been very, very heavy, very wet, but the atmospheric river that we saw at the beginning of the year, this one coming in is weakening. So that's why it won't be the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Alana. We appreciate it.